What are some psychological life hacks you can do to give you an advantage in situations? Story 1. If you get yourself to be really happy and excited to see other people, they will react the same to you. It doesn't always happen the first time, but it will definitely happen the next time. Story 2. False attribution of arousal. When you take somebody out on a first date, take them somewhere exciting that will get their heart beating, e.g., a roller coaster or horror film. This gets their adrenaline up. It makes them think they enjoy spending time with you rather than the activity. Story 3. Pay attention to people's feet. If you approach two people in the middle of conversation and they only turn their torso and not their feet, they don't want you to join in on the conversation. Similarly, if you are in a conversation with a coworker who you think is paying attention to you and their torso is turned towards you but their feet are facing in another direction, they want the conversation to end. You should check out Carol Kinsley Goman's research on these types of things in the workplace. Story 4. The best one I ever heard was, apparently, if you have a warm hand when you shake somebody's hand, you immediately become a more desirable person to get along with. Story 5. Refer to people you've just met by their name. People love being referred to by their name, and it will establish a sense of trust and friendship right away. Say your friend introduced you to Peter. After 5 minutes, he decides to leave. Don't just say bye. Instead, say, "Bye, Peter." Story 6. I learned this on here a few years ago. For anyone in customer service or works for many different situations, but customer service is a big one. Put a mirror behind you at the counter. This way, angry customers who approach you will have to see themselves in the mirror behind you, and the chances of them behaving irrationally lowers significantly. No one wants to see themselves act like a dickhead. Story 7. If you're in a group meeting and you suspect that someone in there might come after you about something, sit right next to them. They were hoping that the group would provide some sort of herd defense, but if you're right next to them, it can't be anything other than personal. This tends to make them back off, or at least substantially temper what they say. Story 8. If you ask someone a question and they only partially answer, just wait. If you stay silent and keep eye contact, they will usually continue talking. My boss does this. Making excuses for being late was brutal. Me. "I'm sorry I'm late. Car trouble." Silence. "And terrible traffic." Silence. "I overslept." Silence. "I'll work late tonight." Boss. "I own you." If you learn to make your statements and confidently stand behind the silence after them, you'll make the interrogator the one who is on his heels. Story 9. Foot in the door phenomenon. People are more likely to agree to do a task for you if you ask them to do something simpler first. Gradual commitment is a crazy thing. I've seen it happen and there is nothing you can do. I think it's the other way around. You ask them to do an unreasonable task and they'll say no. So when you ask for what you wanted, a much more reasonable task, and they are more likely to agree to that. Story 10. The physical effects of stress, increased breathing rate, heart rate, etc., mirror identically the physical effects of courage. So when you're feeling stress from any situation, immediately reframe it. Your body is getting ready to do courage. It's not feelings of stress. A great example of cognitive reframing, researchers found that you do better when you appraise a stressful situation as a challenge, not a threat. Story 11. In sales, though I guess it could be applied in other ways, once you make the sales pitch, don't say anything else. My boss at an old job was training me and just giving me pointers. I was working at a gym trying to sell memberships. He told me that once I got all the small talk out of the way and presented the prices, that the first person to talk will lose. It didn't seem like a big deal, but it actually worked. Often there were long periods of awkward silence as the person tried to come up with some excuse, but usually they bought. It was quite impressive, actually. Story 12. For interviewers, I recommend altering your psychological state beforehand. Tell yourself, "I've known these people all my life. We're old friends catching up. I can't wait to see them." Visualize the experience, shaking hands, making eye contact, having conversation. What things can you not wait to tell them? Hold an open pose. Stand with your legs apart, hands on your hips, and shoulders back while doing this, and smile. This may sound cliche, but you are in charge of your own psychological state, and the power of suggestion is strong. For interviews, I recommend altering your psychological state beforehand. Righto, pop some acid before my next interview. Got it. So, have you had any prior experience in this field? We're in a field? Almost did that once. One summer I picked up a job as a delivery driver at a pizza joint because my friend worked there. Well, the day that I turned in my application, that friend and I bought some tabs from the manager, who regularly sold all the employees weed. The next day, about 30 minutes after we ate them, the manager calls asking if I can come in for an interview. I freaked out and made an excuse for why I couldn't come in, forgetting that she was the one that sold the acid to us. She made fun of me for it the next day. That job was chill as fuck. Story 13. When a group of people laugh, people will instinctively look at the person they feel closest to in that group. Want to know who wants to bone who? Look at who they look at when everyone laughs. If someone else knew this trick and looked at you to see who you were looking at, and vice versa, you would both think you liked each other. Well, if that happens, those two should just get it on. Story 14. When you first meet people, try to notice their eye color while also smiling at them. It might be because you look for a second or two longer, but all I can tell you is that people really respond to it. Every one of these that's pretty good, I keep imagining a socially awkward Reddit user just completely fucking it up. Story 15. I remember the last time this thread showed up. Someone posted that if you ask someone to do you a small favor, cognitive dissonance will make them believe that because they did that favor, they therefore must like you. After all, why would they help someone they disliked? I don't have a source, unfortunately, but I believe the original comment did if anyone can find the previous thread. Story 16. When I worked in retail, I had a tendency to get real curt with rude customers. When I realized I was just taking the bait, I decided to be super nice even when they would get openly hostile. Some of them would get even crazier, and they looked like tools. Story 17. After a person breaks up with someone, they are at their most vulnerable state for manipulation because of the flood of emotions. This could be used for the good or evil purposes. When my buddy broke up with his manipulative girlfriend, I made sure he had a good day, but I should have manipulated him. Story 18. Promise yourself that you'll never talk shit about other people, even when the people around you are talking shit, even when you agree with the shit they're saying. You don't have to make a big deal of it, just don't partake in it. Once people get the idea that you're not into saying mean shit about other people behind their backs, the amount of shit they talk around you will decrease. It isn't fun to talk shit unless everybody's talking shit. Your decision to stop talking shit and their eventual reaction to you not reciprocating the shit talking will positively affect both of you, as well as your relationship. I don't know. For me, since I made this change in how I interact with people, the amount and quality of my friendships has grown. People will trust you more if they haven't listened to you gossip about other people. You'll be seen as a more positive person than other friends who do talk shit. The gap gossiping used to fill will be replaced with way more interesting and or intimate conversation too. I don't know, just stop talking shit and be kind. Story 19. Make it a practice to get rid of filler words and phrases such as like, you know, etc. Instead, use short pauses to gather your thoughts before speaking, though avoid Shatner-style pauses. Using filler words keys whoever you're talking to that you're thinking about what you're saying. Leaving them out makes these thinking spots less noticeable, since you aren't essentially announcing to the world that you are thinking, and makes you seem more sure of yourself. We sincerely appreciate you taking the time to watch our YouTube video. If you find our content helpful and enjoyable, please click the subscribe button to stay updated on any new videos we share in the future. Thank you once again, and we hope to see you in our next upcoming videos.